Welcome everybody to this week's episode of the
Kick Unity Podcast.
And now we will roll that intro.
Whatever you like. You can have whatever you like.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Kick Unity Podcast. This is episode 9, I think. I'm not sure. But today we have Coach Donutz, or better known as Mr. Daud.
Thank you
Welcome
for
to the show, brother.
Thank you for having me, guys. Unfortunately, Yas is not around today.
Yeah, Yas is not around today. He has some personal reasons.
But actually, I have something for you guys.
Alamak.
It's nothing big. I'm not a Liverpool fan. I went through
Are
my
you gonna give me a
stash,
Jude? Oh, no.
but
I thought you were going to
I've
give me
got a Salah for you.
Alamak.
Out of 150 is not much.
Terima
And actually,
kasih.
I got
Thank you very much.
for Yas
Triple
white
A.
sparkle. Yeah, so thanks for having me.
Basic standard, guys. Come here, must give. Okay, so how are you today, sir?
Good.
All right, so let's just get right into it, right? So how did you even start?
Okay, basically, many years ago, growing up, believe it or not, I collect Marvel cards and Marvel comics.
Oh my
So I was
God.
a bit like intrigued when recently there was a Comic Con, right? And people were selling like those comic books, and it actually reminds me those old school comic books. I actually had them before, which I think was going to be worth a lot
of
now.
money, yeah.
But unfortunately, having the strict parents we have in Singapore, one day my mom got pissed off and
And then she
just
threw
opened up the rubbish chute, threw everything
Oh,
inside. I had to
no.
go down, open up the dumpster, crying. But then that was a phase I went through. Never really did like Pokemons and stuff like that. And me, myself, involved in, love football like we all do.
Yep.
So a couple years back, like 3-4 years ago, I started collecting a bit here and there. But then around 2021 is where I really started getting into the
Started to go
hobby
ham.
and wanted to, see how far I can go with this, with
Understand.
my collecting and flipping and stuff
Correct.
like that. Yeah. So, yep.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, he's a very big Jude Bellingham collector. He doesn't collect Jude only from Dortmund. Huh? He loved Jude from Birmingham,
Yeah.
since Birmingham days. So this is a real true Jude fan. So
Yeah.
how did that discovery of Jude come about in the first place?
So obviously I would believe football is the number one
Yep,
sport.
correct.
So like we all watch EPL, then you can see clips and highlights of like championship games
Correct.
back in the day, and like to see like someone like Jude Bellingham before where he was now, for someone from a championship team to
correct.
sign to like Borussia Dortmund,
Yeah.
got me like really wow.
Very
This guy
interested.
is quite a talent from a championship to go to like Bundesliga.
Yep, correct. Especially for Englishmen to go to a German team
Yeah,
and
definitely.
play in the first 11.
Yeah, and obviously nobody would have probably thought, I didn't think, he would have gone to Real Madrid, I
Correct.
just thought someone like an Englishman that we all watch English football to go there. So I started following him and like, seeing his progress, and then that just got me a bit into the hobby of, why not, let's try and collect his cards, So
understand.
yeah, that's how he moved on from there, yeah.
Yeah, so it takes me back, like I watched football for quite a long time already. So it takes me back to like a bit of Owen Hargreaves.
Yep.
An Englishman who didn't start in any English team, suddenly just appear at
In Bayern, yeah.
in Bayern, center
Yeah.
midfield, first 11 every game,
True,
Champions
true.
League winner,
Yep.
Bundesliga winner, obviously not going to win World Cup because England.
Yep.
That's a sad fact that everybody in Singapore supports England silently.
It's coming home.
Yeah,
But haven't come home.
never come home. Instead, we all go home
Yep.
angry and
True,
fed
true.
up. Okay, so, but what's your favorite Jude card that you have?
Okay, I'll be totally honest with you. I'm not a high-end collector. I'm not like the Ice or the Mao or the Bossy, but I love red cards for some reason. Those out of 5. It's the next best thing to the one on ones,
yeah,
right?
correct.
Obviously, like you have your top finals where you have your out of 3s, which is so hard to get.
Correct.
But I love out of 5s, and my collection, I have about, I think, 45 to 50 Jude cards, which are like out of 25 and below. So I have a lot of out of 5s, out of 10s. I don't have any 101s, I'll be honest.
All of these are graded?
all of these are graded. Yes.
45 Jude cards.
So, and not unfortunately, my two favorite cards, I recently sold them at Superfractor.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was my last half an hour in Superfractor, and obviously I brought my cards, and I think there's this company or this card collector group, I think called Love Beijing or Beijing Love. So I was just walking around and I saw they had like a Haaland Top Sapphire, Haaland Red out of 5 auto, and I have the similar one but a Jude Bellingham one,
Okay.
PSA 10.
Okay.
And I also have a Merlin, Jude Bellingham Red, but PSA 10 as well, you know. So I asked him, like, are you interested? Do you buy cards? He said, we only buy cards that are above 300 USD. So I'm like, what about these two cards, you know? And they're like, okay, wait, let me go make a few phone calls. And I think this is the really good thing about card collectors in Singapore, our community. Even though we got the high-end collectors like Mao, Ice, they were there. And I went up to them and I asked them for feedback. What do you think? How much can this card go for? I think they are great guys and I got great relationships with them. You know, even like Artemis and all this. And so in the end, I negotiated with those two guys and I ended up selling it for 3.2k USD, which for both, which actually the Sapphire cost me at a break for like 30 USD. And the Merlin, it was a flip because I wanted to collect Jude Bellingham, so I would like buy cards on Carousel, I would buy cards on eBay, cards that I think people would like, not specifically Jude, and I would flip them for another card and flip. Then I ended up saw this Merlin out of 10, Jude Bellingham on Carousel. So I had a negotiation and I traded for a refractor Jude PSA 8 auto, 2 Messi's PSA 10, but they were like out of 50 and like 300 cash for that card. And I sent it for grading and the auto was a bit off, but it came back a 10. Even SCC was a bit shocked. So both were 10.
seems to love this guy. He got a lot of 10.
Yeah, so I got a bit lucky there and I really love those cards, but at some stage I wanted to sell all my cards, but I was thinking whether do I wait for Ballon d'Or or not, you know?
Yeah.
But I love the card, you know? And
I understand.
if I was going to sell my cards, because some cards I have like out of 3, 5, 10, 25, 50, I don't want to sell them individually because of the effort you put in to break, to buy on eBay, to grade, Carousel, meeting, looking around. And if I were to eventually sell some of the cards, I would probably sell them as a whole. If you want, you buy this 5 from this set, you buy this 3 from this set. Then, you know, because I don't think the money can cover for the efforts or even the time or the money you put in to get those cards. Yeah, so those were my two favorites. But I have a number of out of 5s that I like, just red Jude cards basically.
So red Jude cards, do you love the autos? With the autos or just base?
As long as they are out of 5 red, yeah, I think it's really nice. And I don't know whether you know this, I'm also a big Julian Alvarez fan as well.
My days. Okay.
So when he first signed for Man City, I thought like he would be a really good prospect.
I think he was.
I went on a break and the first Julian Alvarez card I hit was a stained glass rookie, which I got a PSA 10 as well actually. So I have about 40 of his cards graded as well. And they're all 25 and below, to be honest. Yeah, and I'm almost done with one Rainbow Tops Finest 2023, which has his first auto. And shout out to AMCC Break, who has the 1-of-1 PSA 10, which obviously I don't have, but I have the out of 3, 5, 10, 25.
Only left that one.
So
AMCC, sell lah.
Yeah, so I'm a fan of his. And unfortunately, he went over to Atletico, which I thought now with the injuries, he could have probably contributed more
to Man City's.
Yeah, someone who's won everything in one season, right? The World Cup, the Premier League, the treble, you know, I think he's a... how do you go in front of Haaland? You can't, right? But I think he was a good like second striker.
Correct.
And
but for that standard to be second striker.
Yeah, but still they made 90 million of him?
90
million of him, right?
Yeah.
And I just recently, I think,
I
won.
was actually quite sad that he left. I
Yeah.
thought he would be a good fit for another team, maybe an Arsenal.
Yeah, so maybe his Atletico Madrid card might be the next
chase.
the next chase, because I just got his summer signings out of 5 and out of 10 auto.
You
Atletico
really love
Madrid,
low numbered cards.
yeah, I think it just looks,
It's
but
better. Like you
yeah.
only have 10 in the world, and then after that,
yeah,
something
you
like
know,
shoes.
yeah,
Only
you know,
33 pairs.
not a lot of us can go for 101, so
Yeah.
high-end RPAs, and but I think it's something that maybe we can, save up to try and hit,
personal
or,
vibes,
get in on eBay on the right time, and, so yeah.
Correct. So in terms of overseas, you were talking to me just now about breaking on Whatnot.
Yeah, Whatnot is crazy, man.
The
So,
wonderful world of Whatnot.
how I got introduced to Whatnot is, Rizal from
Sports card, SG Sport card.
yeah, so I got to know him from Carousel, where it was the first PSA slap card I bought in my life. So he sold me a PSA 9 Raheem Sterling Color Blast,
Okay.
and I bought it off him, and we met. Well, we stay close by, and we met. Then I talked to him about how you get these cards and stuff, and he said, I go on Whatnot. And I was like, Whatnot? What's Whatnot? When I think like WhatsApp, right? So it's like, Whatnot. Oh, it's like an app, but in America, where you can go to different channels and break for cards. So I was like, wow, this is interesting. And I have family that lives in America, because you can ship your cards. It's in America, and you can ship to America for like nothing.
Yep.
Or maybe like, I think like Ice or Mao or those other Singapore breakers, they ship it to Singapore. I think it costs more. And that's how I met Mao, Ice all on the breaks, because I see them there, and everybody knows them or whatnot. And they're like, oh, our Singapore legend. And that's how I got to know them. So I was breaking a lot on Whatnot. And at that point in time, was for football, was soccer, was mainly like Dortmund Sports, because
correct.
of Jude Bellingham, right? And then I like Giovanni Reina as well, and I just completed his top finest Rainbow 2022. Yeah, so that's how I got into it, and all the cards would be shipped to my aunt in America. Then I think last month she was moving house, and she said, I need to get rid of your cards. So I said, okay, mail it to me. I think it cost me about 300 USD, and I thought it was a box. You don't realize it, right? You do it for like over a year, 2 years. All the cards, because in Whatnot, base also.
Yes, they will give.
They will give base and everything. And next minute, DHL or FedEx arrived with a luggage, and I opened it, and there was, I think, 3,000 to 4,000 cards. And my wife looked at me, and she was like, yeah,
just
what's
nodding
going
their
on?
head.
But fair play to her. She's a big support of what I do.
Yeah.
She enjoys going to the shows with me. She like, hey, will you trade this? And, so it's good to have support. Like, like what you do, you have your wife support or your friends. And I think it's important,
Yeah.
You got some support, and they support what you do. So I think, so yeah, Whatnot's crazy.
I tell you, my mother would flip if she saw that luggage.
Yeah. I flipped, I was shocked, so, but yeah.
Okay, so when you say why did you even come up with the name Coach Donuts?
Okay, so basically, football-wise, like a lot of us, I aspired to be a professional player. I didn't make it. The furthest I went was back in the day in your S-League clubs, you have the Prime League, the under-23s.
Under-23.
So I played 3 seasons in the under-23s. I played 1 season for Balestier Calcia. The first year they formed the merger. Then I played 2 years in Geylang. It's like like a hometown club. All your local Malay boys want to play for, and I got to play for Geylang as a Prime League. And I told myself, like, I give myself to the age of 21. If I'm not moving into the first team, then I think I gotta be an adult about it and just move on from it.
Pretty big of you for you to even set that level at 21. Some people wait,
because
24,
back then Prime League is 19 to 23. But there are players who I will play before Prime League from I'm 19 to I'm 23. Then once I'm 23, 24, I try to look for a club. So I try to set a target where by 21, if I'm not sitting on the S-League bench or playing or regular first team, then I think should
Let's not
just
kid
be
ourselves,
realistic.
yeah.
But I was also part-time coaching because I love working with youths and kids.
Understand.
So right now I'm just a full-time football coach.
Yeah.
Then
So how did that love for coaching come about? Do you love tactics? Do you love building the game from the sidelines, or do you feel like you can control the game from the
Okay,
sidelines and stuff?
so growing up when I was playing in a local academy in Pasir Ris, my former late coach who was a mentor of mine passed away. So he was my coach and he said, hey, you want to do a bit of coaching, help me out. And it's a foreign coach. Rest in peace, Darren Stewart.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was my main mentor.
Okay.
So he said, you want to help me a bit of coaching? I'll pay you like $20, $30. And I'm like 17, 18 years old, $30 for picking up cones and
Yeah.
just,
Just helping out.
kids
Yeah.
out. Why not? But after that, I like grew into it and I really enjoyed it and moved on from there and then progressed. And like you said, got into tactics and competitions and then just slowly just progressed my way. So yeah.
Okay, so you were talking to me about just not breaking or whatnot.
Yeah.
And then the first sport that you broke was not soccer.
Yeah.
It was actually NFL.
NFL, to be
Okay.
honest.
So-
because of this whole like this downtown thingy, right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, when they post out, they'll be like, it's a random spin
Correct.
to bid for the sport. So the highest bidder gets to spin the wheel then it's whichever team you get. And they always put this gimmick, right? Downtown guaranteed. And us being human beings, there's a chance. And hit a downtown, right? And we go for it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, eventually that didn't work out so well. But after I was like, there's football as well.
Correct.
Oh, Dortmund, like Jude Bellingham, like
Yeah, definitely.
why not, right? So like, I went for that and tried other sports, but yeah, that's how I got into different channels, and then that's whole Coach Donut came out, and like sorry, just to revert back, Coach Donut was when I was much younger. The young kids I was coaching, they used to call me Coach Donuts. Hey, Coach Donuts. Then it just became a thing, So
I see.
yeah.
So it translated into the identity of Coach Donuts.
Yeah, so but yeah, then this like I saying whatnot, so many channels, your TCG, your NFL, NBA,
I think at one
anything.
point of time I was talking to Bunyang. He was saying that they even sell shoes and clothes.
Yeah, there's everything, and obviously timing wise. And about the Sapphire, right? The Jude out of 5 Sapphire PSA 10, which I sold, I think for the both cards were like 3.2, but I sold that for like 1.8K if I'm not wrong. So I got into a whatnot stream, and it's a new streamer. Hey guys, I got
Trying to fill out spots.
I got 2 loose tops Sapphire boxes. He's doing the random spin, and he's not getting people obviously because he's new. So I DM him. I said, bro, since doing the random spin, why don't I just buy the Dortmund
boxes.
spot, the Dortmund spot off you for like 32 USD. He's like, okay, fine.
Yours.
Yeah. And that was like 3 in the morning. I don't know why I was up back then, but
Most of us who are on whatnot don't sleep because
Yeah.
we tend to start
Yeah.
playing every channel.
so I went to bed. Then the next day or few days, I recently started the whole TikTok, and there were breaks. I wanted to see if, whether I can support the local community. And I saw Artemis, and I thought, and my name on TikTok was Coach
Donuts.
Donuts SG, right? Then it's like, then Artemis, he was like, are you Coach Donut from whatnot? Then I was like, my goodness. Like I was like, yeah. Do you know you hit the Jude out of 5? I said, what? So on whatnot, you can go back to the page.
You can watch.
You can watch back. And then I was like, then I
Over
told
the
my
moon,
aunt,
man.
like, I messaged him, have you sent the pack? Sometimes this whatnot streams, you have occasions where
There are
not so
occasions.
much the high-end guys where they are starting, but then they hit something really big, right? Then next minute, they just close the stream up, they cancel, they don't mail you, and
Understand.
they keep it for themselves, right?
Understand.
So I already send it. Maybe he doesn't know much about football, send it. Then I contacted my aunt in the because there's like how many other packages, right? I said, this package, I sent her the picture, please hold it and all that. And it actually got graded in the States.
Okay.
So some of those cards that I break, I send a picture. I said, this card, if you can, send it to get graded, because there's a card shop near her place. My aunt lives in Florida, so send a couple of them, and it cost about like 20-25 USD per card. Then 3 months later, she sends me a message and she doesn't know anything
Yeah,
about
she
it.
just takes
These are the
photo.
grades. So I was like, wow, this is sick, right? So yeah.
So you have a lot of experience in grading. Let's talk a bit about that. So how does it work generally in the US? Does it take 3 months also, or does it take 3 days?
So all the 2.5 years in the
Of breaking,
whatnot and my aunt's grading for me, the least that he came back was like 3 months, I'll be honest with you. And this is like regular bulk, for example.
But yeah.
Yeah, but the longest it was like 4.5 months. And that was like coming towards December.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Because they're gonna be stacked with Christmas
yeah,
and New Year's.
yeah. And they also give like a preamp, like, some of the shops they know, because soccer over there might not be as big as American football.
Correct.
But I think some of the shops, the grading shops, they know that, this Jude Bellingham high end. So they say, you could get upcharge. But I told my aunt, if upcharge,
let me know.
like, what can you do, right?
Correct.
So yeah, but it takes really long. And if I like to watch a lot of those like card collecting on YouTube. They go to all these big shows.
Yeah, the
It's
nationals.
really
TikTok
huge.
is filled
Not
with
even
it,
like
bro.
just national, just like every week there's some show.
Yeah,
Even
some
the
card
shopping
show
mall
that
is
they do.
like bigger than what we ever had here,
Correct.
And like sometimes they have these grading companies there, and you can send it, and within like
2 hours later, the fellow
it
get the
comes
card
back, and they can even like tell you whether you wanna I wanna change the PSA to BGS. Oh yeah, if you change, you can possibly get this, and like wow, I say this is like
So they got BGS, they got Beckett.
they got
And what is
Beckett
the
is BGS, so it's like CGC. I think CG.
Yeah, I've only have experiences with Beckett and PSA.
But I would definitely love to go to one of these shows and just
Nationals,
see, like
Yeah.
what they have, and
I think it's just local shows that they have, but it's just so damn big that it seems like on my TikTok stream, especially every week I get to see this guy who's called the King Card Collector.
King.
So he's in Canada, and he always has some deals that he does, and he does all sports. He even buys Messi's from people.
There's another guy on YouTube I really like to watch because he does a whole lot of things like a day in the life. He goes and eat, and he's called like Justin Gamble. It's really cool where he goes and he flip cards and stuff like that. So it's like over there, it's like you can really make a job out of it, So
I see.
Yep.
Okay, so I think in the Arsenal kid, we understand that he's also a big Arsenal fan.
Yep.
Let's put a bit of time on Arsenal. How has the season been so far?
Sorry to say to my Arsenal fellow friends, but the usual. The usual. Recently, I saw they were saying Arsenal is like a Netflix show.
You never know.
You never know. You just wait for the next season. But yeah, I think the killer was that 8-point lead
I see.
against with Man City, and we just
I thought that one was. I think the only problem with Arsenal these 2 seasons or 3 seasons, right, is no pure number 9.
Yep, definitely.
It's not having a 20-goal player.
Yep.
It's not having a Haaland, or in Liverpool's case, Salah, or in Chelsea's case, maybe now it's Cole Palmer.
So now you look at Chelsea, everybody talks about they spend so much money and they've got like a squad of 50 or no. But now you look at them, they are finding their form,
Finding their foot,
and I think they got finally the right manager.
It looks like they're the only ones that can catch us right now.
And like they are playing their best team every week,
Correct.
Sticking to close to the same players every week, and teams like Arsenal, I think how well we have improved in the squad. We don't have like a 1-for-1 change of players, right?
Correct.
Like you
It's
said,
not
there's
like for
no
like.
out and out striker.
Correct.
I
If you
think
take out Havertz, the answer is Jesus.
Yeah, Arteta brought in players from Man City, which he knows they will play for him, but that was like a 1-season thing, right?
Correct.
But they are also coming towards the end of the season, and their careers and Sterling and stuff like that,
and stuff.
Yeah, but I think we got the best youth team in the world, I honestly feel, and I still believe we got the 2 best centre-back pairings in the world, but it's hard. I think Liverpool's playing their best football since Klopp. This is still, I think
this is one of the best seasons since Klopp.
and I think partly a lot is from Ryan Gravenberch. I think he's just been an absolute
crazy.
I still thought about actually trying to get his cards right now, to be honest. Yeah, you know,
I have his rookie auto.
his Ajax rookie autos. You
Yeah.
know, also now the prices are like going up. But
Yeah.
like, you know, but
I got his Ajax rookie auto to 25.
Yep, but yeah, Premier League is tough, man. You know, you got teams like even Brighton's doing well. You know, Leicester now.
Aston
you know,
Villa and
so
stuff.
yeah. So, but yeah, sorry to say, I don't think Arsenal will
Top 4 this year.
should be top
Should be
four.
top
They
four.
should be top 3 at
Arsenal
least.
should be top 2 actually.
Yeah, they should
be
be.
chasing.
You know, because before it was like they were the closest to Man City, right? The past. Now
Do you
it's
think Man
like.
City?
Man City is ready, you know. We just got to see in this January how many more new players he brings in, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so
But depending on the 115 charges, see whether the
True,
case
true.
just concluded.
Yep.
Let's see what happened.
Yep.
So my last question to you is, what's your future plans for the hobby?
To be honest, my full-time job, I love what I'm doing. Outside my full-time job, I love collecting sports cards.
Correct.
And, you know, the thrill of winning it on eBay. And it's just, I think it's a great community, you know. I'm no celebrity, you know. We are not high-end collectors, but it feels nice when you go to this card shows, our local card shows, and people want to look at your cards and exchange, and then they look at, and I don't know, they're like, hey, you're Coach Donuts, right? You
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like, hey, the community is small, but I
Yeah.
think maybe they recognize someone who really collects this,
Correct.
like Jude or
Correct.
Julian, even like from AMCC, he has the 101.
Yeah.
He said that if I were ever going to sell it, I'll sell it to you because you look like a
You're a
true
collector.
Julian Everest collector and not
Correct.
one that would take and
Flip it.
immediately, you know. Whether I still plan on keeping my cards for the long run, I would love so. But let's see who's next. Maybe another rainbow I want to try and chase because I got 2 completed rainbows.
Mm-hmm.
So Matteo Gondozzi from FIFA Select,
Mm-hmm.
his Select Future. So I've got the 101 up till the 25, then
Mm-hmm.
like the Giovanni Reina. Actually, I got a Noah Lang top finest complete rainbow as well. Sorry, not so, my bad. Without the 101. Yeah.
Without the 101.
Yeah, like the out of 3s is just so hard to get.
Yeah.
You know, no one's seen the
Probably sitting in some box.
Jude Bellingham top finest out of 3.
Probably
But I
sitting
know
in
a guy who has the one of one, and it's a guy from Whatnot who I know, you know.
I
And
see.
initially when I had my 2 other Judes, he wanted to trade that plus like 3K USD, and I'm like, no, you know, I'm not those high end, you know. But yeah, hopefully next year, like I said, however much I can support the local community and go to the shows and make friends and seeing young boys or girls that come to the show, and I
Correct.
really get happy, and
Yep.
I open up, and any card, even it's out of 50, 25, a De Bruyne or what, you know, just here you go, you know, something to make him feel like, you know,
Yeah,
get him
get
started, you know,
started,
why not, you know, to help the community out. So yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. And with that, we will call an end to this episode. We'd like to say thank you to Mr. Daud. Coach
Thanks,
Donuts.
guys.
Thank you, everybody in the
I've
studio.
just started recently an IG page separate from my main account.
Correct,
So it's
follow.
called Coach Donuts SG.
Yes.
I'm going to start...
Any underscore or anything? No,
no,
just straight.
I'm going to start uploading all my card collections, and hopefully you guys can follow
Everybody can start
and we
just
can
look
just
and
build the community, man.
Yes, man.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And with that, we will roll that outro. Thank you very much, everybody.
you guys.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching this week's episode.
Like, share, and subscribe.
And we will roll that outro.
Whatever you like.